six-piece band. First nine nerves, every one night stand. I should be glad to be so inclined. What a waste, what a waste. Spasticus, I'm Spasticus, I'm Spasticus Autisticus.
To mark the Year of the Disabled, cult rocker Ian Dury released an uncompromising single called Spasticus Autisticus. It was supposed to highlight disabled issues, but unfortunately the BBC found the track in such poor taste they banned DJs from playing it in daylight hours. Yeah, that'll work.
When Spasticus Autisticus came out, it came out in the Year of the Disabled. And the ruling by the BBC at that time was they would not play this song till after dark. And Ian found this sort of cruelly ironic, and he said, well, what does that mean? You know, it's dark, so all the disabled people will be safely at home and there won't be any trouble anymore?
It's just one astonishing piece of legislation to ban Ian Dury till after dark. You think, is that when spastics come out after dark? What was all that about? I mean, Ian Dury, for instance, was the most inspirational man who'd overcome a severe disability, from childhood polio, and was an absolute, benchmark of somebody who was clearly still quite disabled, mildly disabled in comparison to, many other people, but nevertheless struggling with a disability, and was a cool icon. If he's got something to say about disability, I want to hear it.
50 for appliances in leather and elastic. 100,000 thank yous from 27 Spastics, Spasticus, Spasticus Autisticus, Spasticus, Spasticus, Spasticus Autisticus.
I wrote Spasticus Autisticus, not to offend anybody. There's no way I can go up to a bloke who's got the same disabilities as me and offend him. I felt my job was to put the needle into the person who was disabled, who was restricted there. To me, they need much, much more distraction. But from within themselves, not from organisings or being told anything.
I think they thought Ian was taking the mickey out of disabled folk. They didn't realise that he was actually disabled. That was the perception of the public. They didn't realise. So they thought it was an attack on disabled people. It wasn't. It was the opposite. It was Ian talking, giving a voice to disabled people.
Inspired by Stanley Kubrick's film Spartacus, the track was an ironic comment on the strength and vigour of the Roman gladiator. But this irony was lost on the BBC, who found the lyrics to be in bad taste.
Disability is a very thorny subject, and cerebral palsy is often kind of at the front end of it because people behave quite differently. They sound quite different, and that's something we as a society are getting used to, but back in the day they hadn't. And when Ian Dury comes out and says Spasticus Autisticus, I mean, it's shoving it right in people's faces, and they just didn't like it up them.
Hello to you out there in Normanland. You may not comprehend my tale or understand.
I think it was banned just because people didn't like hearing that word. Nowadays, people don't like hearing that word, but for a completely different reason. Nowadays, we say cerebral palsy, not spastic, and nowadays, hopefully, most of us have, we've got Stephen Hawking, we've got a few other, high-profile people with CP who have taught us, the general public, that that's the way they behave and sound and move, but they're just like everybody else.